Hello and welcome to my cake kitchen. Today we are making these red velvet cupcakes that I made on a live tutorial that turned out evenly baked with a super moist and tender crumb. These cupcakes were a combination of rich, flavorful and delicate, all crammed into these muffin-sized treats, and I hope by the end of this video you'll be able to make these in your home kitchen from scratch. Plus I'll be sharing the very secret ingredients that made all the difference. But if you want to see all the fun we had in the live baking session, check out the live library on the homepage of this channel, where you can see all the unedited live moment from prep to bake, which also includes a detailed baking process of the bake session. And you'll even get to see what I think about the warm, delicate crumb of this red velvet cupcake. One word I would say here is yum. And with that said, let's jump right into making these cupcakes. We're starting with 350 grams of floral margarine here, but the fat base can be replaced with butter or half and half and some oil if needed. There's a note on screen for you, and more details will be left in the description box for your convenience. Next is caster sugar, but you could equally replace this with granulated sugar if you have no access to caster sugar. I'm using my Kenwood K-Mix stand here. Worth noting though, for the quantity and yield, you could easily use a hand mixer with some minor adjustment to the creaming and mixing times. The recipe calls for 2 tablespoonfuls of vanilla, but I'm definitely helping myself to a lot here by pouring it with a lot of love. Now let's cream the margarine, sugar and vanilla together until light and fluffy, and this in terms of timing takes up to about 2 to 3 minutes. For these cupcakes, timing and visual observation of the different phases of change is key to great results and to avoid the trouble of overcreaming the fat and sugar base. Overcreaming may also cause too much air pockets, which may then overstretch, causing the cupcakes to rise and overflow the cupcake cases during the baking time. Incorporating too much air pockets also can cause the cupcakes to form mountain-looking peaks. 3 minutes came quickly whilst we were still having fun, but 2 minutes into the mix I had to stop and scrape the bowl in for a uniform mix before it was time to add the eggs. I had 4 large eggs weighing about 245 grams without the shells. These were to be added to the mix one at a time, but after I added the first egg I panicked about shells possibly getting into the batter, so I broke the other 3 eggs into a bowl, mixed them together slightly before adding to the margarine and sugar mix at a lower speed of 2. Once the eggs are added, the speed is raised to medium-high, which is about 3 to 3.5 on this K-mix, and it's time to add the flour. The details of the flour is on screen for you, which includes a mixture of both self-raising and plain flour. Additionally, there is 7 to 10 grams of salt with about 70 grams of cocoa powder. All these were whisked together and pre-sifted before adding it to the batter. An important thing to note here, the mixer is turned down to fold function, which is the lowest speed setting on this K-mix for the flour addition. The flour is added in 2 parts, one half first, then the liquid ingredients, then the other part of the flour. The liquid ingredient here, which is also the secret ingredient, is kefir, which is to replace buttermilk. Buttermilk is a necessary ingredient popularly associated with the making of red velvet cakes. Now my use of kefir here was simply a misadventure done right, because my local shop had run out of my shop-bought buttermilk, which I use in the original recipe. But after some research suggested using kefir as an alternative ingredient for buttermilk, I tried this first with the layer cake version of this recipe, and when the results were just right, I decided to try it for cupcakes too. After the flour, food coloring and kefir are added, the batter is mixed together on the mixer for about 20 to 30 seconds before it's finished off manually by hand. This is to prevent overmixing, and the tip here is to observe specks of flour still floating atop on the batter when the final bit of flour is added. Then it's time to take the batter off the mixer and continue by hand. And whilst mixing by hand, and half a teaspoonful of vinegar is added into a bowl, and a quarter of a teaspoonful of soda bicarbonate is added into the vinegar. This is then left to fizz very quickly and then added to the rest of the batter and mixed all together uniformly before dishing out into 24 cupcake cases. Worth noting, my oven had been preheating at 160 degrees C long before we started making the batter, and also line your cupcake trays. But much of this fun is also captured in the live session, which I have already referenced and will be linking in the description box for you. Once the batter is all distributed into the cases, the cupcakes will bake for 18 to 20 minutes at 150 degrees C in my convection fan oven. Now dishing the batter with a scoop can be tricky, but but this can be made easy by dipping the scoop first in a bowl of warm water before dishing the batter. This stops the batter from sticking to the scoop. The quantity of butter in each cupcake case is a little over half the case full, leaving room for rise and a nice dome. One last tip though, the cupcakes are baked with a tray of water underneath the oven. This is placed at the base of the oven to provide some sort of moisture and cooling mechanism in the oven, which also helps for an even, delicate bake. After 20 minutes, the cupcakes are perfectly baked, and a quick recap of my live reactions once I observed the cupcakes were done. Yay, my people! As you can see, the cupcakes turned out amazing with a nice even dome. The crumb was unreal, because the thing with red velvet is it derives its name from its velvety texture that is not dense but not light either. It's somewhere a hybrid in between, which is delicate and yet is packed with flavor, which is tangy. It has been determined for us that this will be our tester. Okay, look, it has been determined. It has been determined. I am not mad. Okay, let's see the markers. Even dome, top, nice bake. Let's get to the crumb. Look at that cake. I mean, look at that. This is what a red velvet should be like. This. You've never had a good red velvet if you haven't tried this recipe. So that is just about it for this red velvet cupcakes. If you want to catch up all the fun, there's more videos on screen for you to see and catch up on simple classic bakes that you should be able to complete in your own home with all the confidence you need. I'll see you on the next one.